or your deck. So pretty much basic. You don't really have to do anything here, just get a general idea. And to actually get to convert the database from a card from here into where the hell is it? Into here, I use a class. I made up a class called load data. With this method here, get card data, which you put in the card's ID and its owner, and then it just opens the SQL database, and then it just like select all this stuff, and then it just drags it over into the card, like name equals that, yada yada yada. Pretty big. So you don't really have to do any of this. And then for load skills, it does the same thing here. Like if I type in deadly, it makes deadly equals chew, charge, stealth, life steal. So yeah. So that's pretty much it. And next we'll do the player class, which I called champion. Which is a photon behavior class, which is attached to these guys here. There's a bunch of values here, but the main ones you mainly want to focus on are the list of card data is here, which is deck, original deck. This is just for maybe let's say we have a card that does a discover, that has a discovered effect, like discovered a card from your deck in the beginning of the game or something like that. Then we have the grave, which is a list of deck cards. Then we have a list of units here from a class called unit data, which I'll show later. Then we have traps, which are like secrets. Then we have just a bunch of other random values here. You can look at it further into the class, into the project yourself. Then we just have a bunch of methods. And just to be clear again, I am using Photon Network, so some methods will have this run RPC in it. Oh, and one more I forgot to mention, card data is serializable, so because I'm not good with words, because you can't you can't really send classes themselves between players. You can only send a certain amount of things, so I made it serializable so I can turn it into a string, and then when it's sent over there, I can turn it back into the class. And to send data to the host or whatever, if you're not familiar with Photon Network, it's done by this big thing here on serial views. So send player name, which is a string, and then on the other side, the player name equals the string that it was sent. And for stuff that I have to serialize, I just do new serializer, serialize the string, and then deck, which was the list of card datas, and then to deserialize it from the other side. Not too hard to understand. Okay. The next class I'll be talking about is the card class, which is literally this thing right here, or resource assets. Yeah, resource. Come on. Whatever. Like this thing, the cards game object itself. Yeah. As you can see. Yeah. It has a C data, which is its card data, then its original data. Because let's say if the card has like buff stats, like it has like one extra attack and one less health, and the original data, I have it like this. So when I render a card data, when you zoom into a card in the game, it'll show if it it'll be able to compare the two. It'll know that the card's been buffed, so the text of the stats will be rendered green instead, or something like that. Then we have the champion, its owner champ, which is a class I just showed. Then we have game manager, and game manager is responsible for handling the game itself. So it mainly deals with trigger effects, like if I play a card, then it goes through the list of all the cards and stuff like that. And it also handles a lot of things. It's hard to keep track because you just know it by heart eventually, and don't remember what you write. Then we just have stuff like cost attack, summon injects. It's all that. And then like stuff not really that important, really. Like it's not like you're gonna be. I'm not expecting anyone to edit this. I'll be doing, if anything that needs to be edited, I'll do it myself. Because what I'm mainly looking for are people to help make spell cards and other card effects like Awaken and Release and such, which I'll be showing in other videos. So yeah, it's pretty. And then it's the same way of sending data. And the next thing I'll be showing is the hero powers, which are these two things, which I called champ ability buttons, which has turn manager, which pretty much makes sure it keeps track whose turn it is, and it won't let you do certain things unless it's your turn or not. And then we now you don't have to worry about all this, but if you just want to look at it, it's fine. Pretty much it just has its methods to do stuff when you're touching it with the mouse and such. Like, if you want to actually read what this is about, go ahead. I'm not going to get into too much in detail. This is just a summary anyways. But we use this to this is used actually for the champion ability, which I call right here, which keeps the data from certain things, like the ID type, its player, like its owner's tag, its image. Pretty much almost works the same as a passive ability and an active ability. And the same way to get the data from the SQL here to here, I also made another method in load data, which is get champ ability, which you type in the ID, and then it sends the data back into a card data. No, wait, that's for the deck editor. Give me a sec, sorry. Oh yeah. Which it gets from here, you just type in the ID and then it goes to champ ability factory. There's going to be a bunch of factories for most stuff like spells and such, and active awaken abilities, and so pretty much you got to type this manually in yourself, like ID1 test ability 1, ID2 test ability 2, then it just returns the ability there, because champ ability it's a I keep forgetting the term, it's polymorphous, so it has inherences. Sorry, I'm not good at this. Oh yeah, and then I have to get the actual data here and get ecost. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I'm getting a migraine. Um, so yeah, and last but not least, we have the equipment slots here, which are these two, which I which is called from a class which has a class called equip data, which has a slot type, which is either going to be weapon or accessory, which will either be spelled like, which will even typed in like, yeah, like, which either you type in like this or like this, which should be already rendered, already typed in, at least in the things themselves. Yeah, I typed weapon here and accessory here. I'm pretty sure I didn't use a capital. If I did, I'm gonna have to change things a little bit. Well, I did do a capital, okay. Meaning I'm gonna have to slot type weapon. Did I do it anywhere else? No. So yeah, it gets most of its data anyways from the card data here. And 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 you don't really have to worry about any of these really, because how to say this? Let's say because I already made it set where this will launch on its own, like load equipment, when you drag a card from my hand into the slot here. It'll do it all on your own. So you don't have to. Like again, I am not looking for people to help edit certain codes. If they want to try to look at the code and improve it, go ahead. But I'm just trying to find people to help make more. What's the word? Makes more inherent classes of current classes. Oops, sorry about that. I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, and now, yeah, and as for and we have one more class I just called spell data, which it's pretty much where we do all this, or how the spells work. Like it does when you play a spell, it's the class spell data. It's pretty much where it does the spell's effect. As you can see, it's a serializable class, and these are the virtual methods: can cast, valid target, cast on target, cast, get spell type, place spell, and pick a card. Let me just open up a test spell class I made. So yeah, here's an example. So when you're I'm not gonna go into detail. About spells in a later video. Sorry if I've been pausing there and then. It's just hard to think straight sometimes and get my thoughts into words. I'm like it's hard to say stuff that I understand into words. It's hard to say for me. But yeah, anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you're interested, just let me know, and it'll be nice to have you on the team. Well, thanks for watching.